All right. Good stuff. All right. So thank you for joining us. We are, this is the business plan workshop brought to you by myself and Anthony and our companies, and of course, Damage Control. We love to help realtors grow their businesses. Of course, it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. So we've done a lot of coaching and learning in our years of business and are bringing this forward to you guys now to make sure that you're getting ready for your year. For those of you on this webinar, there's a few of you that I don't know. I'm Melinda Grimaldi, real estate and title attorney with the Grimaldi Law Firm and the Closers Title Insurance Company, where we do things a little differently. We order everything early. We have super proactive communication, multilingual, high tech, and a client satisfaction guaranteed. I'm happy to share more about what those things mean. Just hit me up and let me know if you're interested. But other than that, here's Anthony.
What's going on, guys? Anthony Angelillo, branch manager over here with the Tag Team, powered by Paramount Residential Mortgage Group, also CEO, founder, Tag Team Nation, marketing tech company. Won a bunch of awards, so very thankful for that. The 13th will be the award Top Agent Magazine. I made the cover of that, which was awesome. And as of yesterday, that was a blessing, man. We're blessed to have that. And then as of yesterday, we are officially certified with the #1 CRM in the world, not the nation, the world. They are massive, HubSpot. So very proud to start building that on behalf of agents. Been doing this 20 years, guys. Those of you that do not know who I am, I lend money. And I'm pretty darn good at it. So hope to help you guys out. Let's roll.
Let's roll. All right. So if you're not already subscribed to Damage Control, you could scan this little QR code here.
I love it.
And yes, scan the QR code and you'll be able to subscribe to our show. We are on a hiatus for the rest of the month for the holidays, and due to all these holiday parties and all these things happening, but we'll be back at it next year. It's a weekly show that gets dropped every Thursday. And we hope to have you guys join if you're not already. And if you're subscribed, you are able to get all the resources that we create for you. Otherwise, you can catch it on anywhere you can listen to a podcast, and you can also watch us on YouTube.
We just went on Spotify, Apple, and all the platforms. And then, guys, all of the content that is released on that channel, that's why you want to sign up. There's a lot of good stuff that we provide from a lot of the guest speakers too. So I would definitely sign up.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's keep it moving. You know, we're going to be talking about creating a plan, but you can't, just like, you know, just like when you put something in your GPS, you need an end destination to know how to get there, right? So like anything else in life, when you're building your business plan, you need to have what that end destination is with your business, but also for yourself personally. What is your business? What does it need to do for you? What are you trying to accomplish for you in all of this? Yes, you want to grow and make all these commissions and do all these closings per month, but what is that going to do for you? Right? So for me, what I'm trying to do for me next year with the growth that I'm trying to achieve is a little bit more flexibility in my time. So I'm trying to grow my team so that if I want to take 3 days to go on vacation, I can be disconnected. Generally, I don't have to be fully disconnected, but I need to have a little bit more flexibility. If I'm going to be going to conferences next year, everything's back at it with all those things. I need to be able to focus on what I'm doing and, you know, or be able to spend time with my family without always having my phone in my hand. And to do that, I need to grow my team a little bit more. So that's in the works. And yeah, so and then next year, I want to be able to take my kids to soccer practice or whatever they end up doing. So for me, that's one of my goals. So yes,
so you need time. Your goal is
my goal for next year. I need to grow my business to give myself more time.
And it's crazy. I read something this morning on IG, and it's all about allocating time wisely. But a lot of the people that start their business, they're not hitting capacity on their time in terms of time blocking. And if you can basically full out your calendar, like Melinda's calendar is insane. Like it's just blocked. And if you guys have everything blocked out and it's time blocked, then you know you've reached a plateau that you have to hire somebody. And that's going to allocate more time for you to either make more money or what Melinda wants to do, obviously spend time with her kids and family. So it's a two-way streak, but it was awesome. I'll send that article afterwards. It was awesome. Great article.
Yeah. I mean, and so it just depends on where you're at in your life, in your business, in the seasons, right? We have different seasons. And that's, you know, kind of my end goal with that, with all that. So once you set that goal, right? We have the goals we're setting. Now there should be personal goals, professional goals, financial goals that you're setting up for yourself for the next year. Once you, on the business side, right? The business goals, the financial goals, we all want to grow that number, right? You want to see what we did this year and know like what we're going to do for next year, so that we can do that growth. But you know, you need to know your numbers. You need to be able to reflect on what's happened to be able to see what you got to do. I think that's the biggest thing, right? So, but to set up those goals, a great way to do that is to just think about your vision board, right? And yes, you know, you might have that really fancy house, that boat or whatever on the vision board, but you know, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen this year, but it's there as like, you know, we know that's where you want to end up, right? That's what you're putting in the GPS. And then most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in like 3 to 5 years. So you just got to stay on track and create that plan for yourself. I'll say
in terms of accountability, who's holding you accountable? You joined a coaching program, right? You just did. I'm
back in coaching, the same one I was in before. Yeah. I couldn't find anything as good as that. So I went back to basics with that. And they definitely hold you accountable. So part of the program gives you an outsourced CEO, COO, CFO. So they hold you accountable in those departments of your business and make sure that you continue to evolve and progress and do what you know you need to do to get to where you want to be.
That's important, man. Accountability is key in anything you do. So
and a lot of things, even today, like have yourself a notepad or pull up the note section on your phone or wherever you're using this platform to stream from, and create a parking lot for your ideas. I have this book. It actually says ideas on it. I bought one for Anthony. I don't know if you still have.
I got it right here, man.
Right, there you go.
Literally, I keep it right on my desk. It's just, I jot everything down.
And you have to do that because, you know, especially when you start getting into coaching, going on YouTube, watching these videos, doing these webinars, you're going to find you have so many ideas. And the reality is we can't execute them all at the same time. So find a place to have a parking lot for yourself. And then you'll be able to, you know, use that as you build out what projects you want to do and things you want to implement through the month, through the years. So we spoke about reflecting, right? As we reflect, we're going to go through the different parts of the business plan, but as we reflect on those different parts, you need to always be considering this and do an assessment of 2021. What am I going to continue to do at the same pace, the same pace? What am I going to stop doing because it didn't work? What am I going to do more of because I have more capacity to do it? I could do more because it worked well. And I think if I do more, it'll work even better. Mm-hmm. And what are the new things I want to do, try, implement, test, create?
I know what I have to do.
Go, tell me.
I had an amazing year, but I definitely retracted on numbers because I was building out operations and building out systems and, you know, having a bigger future to get to the next level, which will be presented in February. But I know that's where I need to be. And I also need to go to more events. We talked about this prior to this meeting. We need to start doing live events, and we need to start really hitting the streets, talking to more agents, having more market share. What I need to stop doing, I made a promise I won't buy any leads. I was doing Zillow and FirePoint with good relationships. And I felt like it tarnished a lot of relationships only because, you know, when that dries up, then what? Okay. What did you build? You paid for something. So I don't believe in buying leads. I believe of, generating them, and that's just for me. And then what I need to do more of is, like I said, talking to agents, having more lunches, and really talking to the main agents, and focusing on the agents that we need to do business with, that we're currently doing business with, and catering to those agents, and understanding that that's our power sphere. And then that's pretty much it for me. How about you?
Look, this is, oops, sorry.
What do you got to do?
I have.
Yeah, are you serious? Holy shit.
So
Let me
this,
see that again. Let me see that. Wow. That's what you need to do.
so this is the different sections that we're going to go through. I haven't finished typing out my business plan, but these are all the things that are going to go in my business plan. So I have it out because I want to talk about things with you guys, but I also, as I go through this, I know I'm going to have ideas and things that I maybe missed. So I'm going to reflect on what I already have, but it's, I go through and talk about what is going to be done in systems, for sales, for marketing, in my team, financially, me personally, and my factory, which is, kind of like your systems and your like, for example, I plan on hiring 2 more people in person and 2 more people that will be remote, which means I need more space. I know
you're gonna get out of that spot.
Either I need more space here or I need more space somewhere else. So, I'm already putting the feelers out there with the building, but you can't wait to when you need the space, and you hire someone to think about the space. You need to be planning ahead. So that's just one example, right? But what I'm going to continue doing, I'm going to continue doing a lot of things, right? But I'm going to, like, a lot of my board memberships and sponsorships, I'm going to continue with the ones I'm already doing, but I'm actually going to increase some of them. I'm increasing in 2 of my association memberships, and I'm going to add new ones that I wasn't a member of before. So I'm adding 2 and increasing with 2. That's an example of which I see where things that went well. And I'm going to be, what are the new things I want to do? I'm going to, even though I've been talking a lot of talk, but 2022 is my year to really get implemented into HubSpot. So,
it's funny though, is you mentioned this too. You said, look, I'll be straight. I'm on camera. You said I've been distant because I've been in this hole. So those of you that are doing this, don't do what I did. That brought sales down, and I just went into this little dark mode program and to build out what I needed to build. And I always joke around. It's like an agent saying, I need a business card to go get business. No, you don't. You need to shake someone's hand and have lunch with them and build that rapport. So that's something that you're good at doing, Melinda. You'll take, little pieces.
I will never, but see, I do little pieces at a time.
And I just need to get it done.
Yeah,
just need to get it done.
These projects are super important to keep the progress and building the infrastructure and with growth. But we have to remember that without sales, we have nothing. So I've been through stages of my business cycles where I would get stuck in the implementation stages of things and not go out and do things. And then what happens? That's the roller coaster of sales, right? Of ups and downs, because so I've systematized some marketing, and I don't care how busy I am, I will always find a way to promote my business, whether it's through social media, through my systems, through events, through showing up places, because I will never be, because at the end of the day, if you're not making money, it's your fault. You can't blame anybody else. And I told myself, the first step in everything is taking responsibility for your actions or lack of action to get to where you want to be. So that's the biggest, hugest part of what I've learned in coaching is taking responsibility. I used to blame it on hurricanes. I used to blame it on interest rates. I used to blame everything but myself for why I wasn't closing the amount that I wanted to close. If we're talking about real estate closings, part of my business. And you know what? When I finally said, you know what, F that, I just need more deals. Let me go find them, because deals were canceling. Like, they're canceling because of this, they're canceling because of that. Well, I just need more.
What is your cancellation rate? Do you know?
The cancellation rate for inspections is almost at 0.
Wow.
There's awesome. There's loan issues still. There's title issues still. There's other issues, but the rate has gone down this year. I'm starting to see it creep back up again a little bit. Every month is different. We have it by months, so it just depends on what's cooking. But Anyways, what are we going to continue doing? Stop. So think about that. Take a piece of paper,
Yeah.
split it up into 4, but continue, stop, more, new. What's something that you want to stop doing, Anthony?
I'm done with the systems. I've built a massive infrastructure. We're certified with a CRM. We're doing a licensing agreement with them. Now we can, obviously help agents out as an agency. I'm done with that. I'm done, been there, done that. Now I'm going to focus really, Women's Council. I think that made us get to a catapulted, at least my business. I want to really focus on events and giving back to the community and just helping agents scale their business, but not overnight. It takes time. That's what I need to do. And then also doing lunches. I'm having a lunch right now. We're going to go have lunch with Jeff and Angelique. So it'd be nice to take some time off and really just, get back to normal in terms of sales. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So you heard me talk about the different parts of the business plan. There's really the different parts of your business. There are different hats that you wear. If now as an agent, you think like, you don't always think of yourself as a business, but you are, and you wear all those hats, and you're the marketing department, and you're the sales department, and you're the production department, right? And you're doing all that stuff. You're the operations, you're doing everything, right? At least in the beginning, you're going to do everything. And then with time, you'll outsource and you'll get help and you'll grow a team. You'll get an assistant, you'll have a transaction coordinator. But until then, you're wearing all the hats, you're wearing all the pieces of the puzzle. So each one of these sections has to be built out, has to be reviewed so that you can make sure, because if you ignore any of these, you're going to be in trouble. Now, even with myself, that has a more traditional type of business where I have a marketing assistant and a full-time bookkeeper. I have all these things, right? And different departments, but it's still, I'm in the center of it all. So you being in the center of it all, we'll talk more about that, but like, what are you going to do for you? What are you going to do for your mindset? What are you going to do for your personal growth? What are you going to do? Like all this growth, what is it going to do for you? So we mentioned that in the beginning as well. Like, what is the purpose of your goal? Like, why do you want to get to that point for you? And it might be the money in the beginning, right? But then you'll see with money, then you're going to need more time, and then you're going to need other things, right? So with that, this is the 7 parts. We're going to break it down one by one. Is there anything that you want to learn or do for yourself next year, Anthony?
I am speaking with my CPA/attorney, the person you introduced me to, Chad and Rami, and I'm speaking to them at 4. I want to know the inside and everything about S corps, taxes. I'm going to start really digesting all of that just to play the game, because as we grow, we need to be mindful about things like that and allocate money. So money and metrics is definitely in my game plan. In fact, yesterday, we had a whole entire performa Adam and I went over, and Brian. So it's interesting. If you don't know your numbers, you're not going to go anywhere. So, and
I'll tell you guys, you should be making, even with money and metrics, talking about money and metrics and taxes, make sure you're putting aside a little bit of money every day for every commission check for Uncle Sam, because I had to pay one chunk all at once unplanned for, and I've opened up a tax savings account, and every time I take money for myself, I put a little bit in there so that we're able to be ready for that versus having one big thing that's a lot harder to digest. For myself, I'm looking to educate myself more on Bitcoin, like the crypto, Bitcoin, NFTs.
Invested. You want to invest. Yeah.
I would invest, but also it's going to change the way we're going to do business. And I want to be the first one to do it. So I need to learn about it first before I can definitely offer anything on anything of that. So I'm going to be studying that very intensely. That's for me. And then I started already this year, but I'm going to be studying much more the art and the science of manifestation and the brain, and how, your mindset, and all that kind of, all that, that stuff. There's like so many books on it. So I bought them all, and I'm going to digest them one at a time. So that's gonna be. But at the end of the day, we got to start with sales. Why? Because sales will determine everything else. It cures all, but it also causes problems in all other areas. if not properly planned for. What does that mean? If I want to double the amount of closings I'm doing next year, for example, I'm going to need to grow my team. I'm going to need to make sure my infrastructure can sustain it, right? So we start with sales, because then based on that, we build a plan around that.
Mhm.
And then we know what the marketing department needs to do. So Anthony, this is your department. I'm going to let you roll with it. I know we have a detailed number here, way of planning it out, but I'll let you take over from that part.
All right. So what we do is, there actually is a true story. I spoke with a gentleman that has 138 agents in Texas, and he wants me to meet with the CEO to help him out. I said, listen, before I do anything, I want to see their pro forma. The reason why, and normally people are going to say, well, what do you mean? You got 138 agents, we're going to roll in the money. No, I want to know if I can sustain the sales capacity in order to handle operations. Because if I don't have good operations and I don't close, I'm not going to that relationship is going to be tarnished. So without knowing, projections and understanding forecasting, that's everything in sales. It's not just closing deals and saying I'm a badass, I can negotiate and whatnot. It's really understanding and projecting and calculating. And I've noticed that over the course of 5 years that we are now literally looking at data in our massive HubSpot system that we have, and we're calculating algorithms that are easier for us to convert. For example, we see that credit has been pulled. Well, 3 deals yesterday ended up being refinances because people that we did applications on 2 years ago are now refinancing. So that's data, calculating, projecting. So now we need to do that more in terms of 2022, moving into the new year. How are we going to project? How are we going to target market and focus and make our jobs easier instead of this hamster on wheel, like trying to prospect consistently? You all have a massive database. You just need to, foster what you've already closed and reach out to those third parties that you built rapport with, and ask for more business. Are you hitting your goals? Our goals are big. We have a growth number that's 100 units a month, and people think we're nuts saying that. That's a lot of units. And the reality is I'm hoping and praying that we should get to 39. We're teetering anywhere between 16 to 30 to 20, and it really depends. So knowing your numbers and understanding that is number one in sales. That's for us. If I'm a buyer's agent, if I'm a listing agent, any real estate agent in general, if you don't know how many, I've got a whole form right here, and I'm going to lunch with 2 top producers, and they filled out our intake form, and I know everything about these 2 agents, right? And so it's the data, and these agents are closing 30 million plus, but I sure as shit, I can tell you that they have a whole calculation of what they're doing. They have VAs assisting them. They're projecting, they're hitting their goals, and they're forecasting with their team. There's accountability. There's people that are physically in that team, most likely as production managers, saying to the staff, hey, are you hitting your quotas? If you're just one person, then that stems with the data that you're intaking, and where is that data going? You're sending your lender partner XYZ leads. Where are those numbers? Are you sitting down with that lender partner and physically calculating what you guys have closed? What have that you can possibly target market that is not closing for next year, but possibly this year, whatever the case is. But that's very important for us in terms of calculations, and that's like everything in sales. If I can give you guys any food for thought.
So in the plan itself, now that you have some context, you should say, okay, if I want to close 24 deals next year, right? That's a use on 24 closings next year. My average closing gives me this much commission. And so this is how much I want to earn gross next year, right? Then from there, if I want to do 24 closings, how many contracts do I need? So do you have that number handy? Do you know what your cancellation rate is? How many of your deals fall through that never end up closing? And you need to know that, because we don't want to shoot it for 24. You don't want to shoot for 24 closings if 20% have a problem and then you can't close them, right? So you have to shoot a little bit higher to get to the number that you need. So that's where I started calculating my cancellation rates for myself, because yes, I'm on track. Like this is, back in the day, I'm on track to close 10 deals a month. And I had 12 deals on the calendar, but then only 8 closed and 2 got pushed to the next month. That's a cash flow problem. That's everything is thrown off by that. So now if I know I need, I'm shooting for, my goal was 50 closings a month. We didn't hit that any month this year. We got close, but we didn't hit it. Next year it's going to increase, but it's going to be a progression increase. It's not going to be 60 from the beginning. It's going to be, 45, 50, et cetera, to an end of year goal. But the reason why I'm doing that is so that I could increment myself up, but also, and then I'm shooting. That means if I want to close 60 deals in January, for example, I know that in December, between November and December, I need to open a certain number of files to close that many in January. Right. And then I know, including with my cancellation rate, I know I need to add padding to that. So that means maybe 80 files need to be open to close 60, because, 5 will get rolled over and yada, yada, yada. Right.
Yada, yada.
Yada, yada. So, because that's the industry that we're in, things happen, loans fall apart, properties have issues, parties get pissed. There's so many things. Or this property doesn't work out, and then they'll put the offer on the next one. Oh, the next one is a Zillow. They're going to do their own title. Okay. So I don't get that replacement deal. So these are different things you need to consider, that they don't always come back. They don't always go for another contract. So what's the deal? Breaking down those numbers backwards. So you know how many your cancellation rate. So how many clients do you need to show properties or do listing appointments for to get them on their contract? Do you have 100% close rate that they're all going with you? Are they all, or are they showing and seeing and doing appointments? Are you getting those clients? Are you not getting all those clients? Understand. So if you don't have these numbers, you got to find a way to start planning to collect data moving forward. So if you don't have these numbers handy, at least able to pull up it from some sort of system or database. If you can't do that, part of your business plan is to start collecting the data.
It's all about it's data. That's it. You're in a data. I mean, everything is data. Even when the trends happen right now, sellers market a high cancellation rate because the appraisals are not hitting. Our cancellation rate was at 88%. It dropped to 61. 61% cancellation rate right now.
So 61% are canceling or 61 are staying?
Staying.
Okay.
No. Yeah, staying. But the point is because when I spoke with Adam, I said, that you should see, I mean, I'll send it out. We have an Excel spreadsheet. You guys can just tweak, different verbiages and property fields. And if that helps you out, so be it. But the point is I asked him why, because appraisals aren't hitting. And if they're not hitting, that's higher, cancellations or not negotiating properly. It's not because they don't qualify. Now, here's the crazy part. Everyone that's using the buyer's consultation form, I shit you not, our cancellation rate went up 10%. In terms of
your cancellation rate went down.
It went down 10%.
Yeah.
Down 10%. Well, it's 72% right now. So that's only because you'll see in the next slide. I believe I have in the next slide. There you go. That's the goal right there. So everybody in the office right now needs to do 5 applications a day, and they're teetering around 3 or 4, close to 5. Yannette and Vera are, they're rocking it. Yannette's actually our top producer. 25 apps a week. That's the 108 per month, 1,300 a year, 26% conversion rate. That's our conversion rate from app to contract. Okay. And then 65 closings, that's going to equal, but our closing ratio is at 61% right now. Okay. And it went up and then it went down. It went up because of the appraisals. It went down because of the intake form. And that was what was pissing me off is the data that's being absorbed by the buyer's agent. We have no control over that. So now we need to understand the data that's coming in better versus just taking an app and see if they're pre-approved. And that's going to calculate to 39 closings a month. And, God willing, we'll be at 165 million a year. That's the goal. We're teetering at 80 to 90 right now. So
But
we
so
want to push it.
I want you guys to pay attention to this because you don't have the power in having this information at your fingertips. I'll just tell you. So if you have these projections and you do the 5 applications per day for his team, they know they'll have that. They have that, right? They have that there for them. And he can project his growth and his systems and his needs for his company based on these numbers. Also, as team members, as yourself, I know I got to take 5 applications a
Yeah,
day.
it's all
I
that.
know
Yeah,
I don't, they just focus on the applications,
yeah,
taking those
yeah.
applications. They don't stop until they do that. And it gives them the goal, the set point, the limit to, to get to, so that they can get to the next point that they want to achieve.
Yeah, the goal is 5 apps. So that's their focal point is 5 apps, 5 apps. They don't need to know the rest. It's just give us 5 apps and we're good.
But you know that 5 apps, with 25 apps per week, then that's that many apps per year, which means with the conversion rate, if you didn't know your conversion rates between the closing ratio and the conversion ratio, you would be shooting blanks because you don't know what to project.
And that's what really messed with my mind is the close-in ratio went up, it went down, and it went all around. I mean, Adam and I were confused the entire time, but then we really looked into it and we sat down for hours and we said, all right, appraisals, DTI issues here, a lot of problem, we get a lot of deals that we need to save face and the other lenders can't close. We have one right now with Chase. So the likelihood of that converting, it's 50-50. It depends because it just fell on our lap last minute. We got to close it in 10 days. So it's things like that. So our numbers are a little bit different, but if you guys can sit down and just go through those basics, Melinda has an amazing worksheet. We had it on I remember when we went to Fidelity, that live, we did this live worksheet. So if you guys need a worksheet to get the foundation of what you need and know your numbers, that's it. This is all you need to do.
But this is where you're going to start, right? So I started at something like this, but then as you get these numbers, right, you're going to keep monitoring because numbers change, percentages, ratios change, but also you could start adding more things to monitor as you once you start keeping track of some of the bare necessities you need to have, then you can start keeping track of more things. For example, assessing your pipeline, like when taking a listing to closing, how long does that take? What's your average turn time? Why? Because you could start projecting your cash flow. You could from listing from call to listing to listing agreement. Like how long does it take? How many follow-ups does it take? What's the turn time for cancellations and things like that. So, and what can you do to minimize your cancellation rates? What can you do to minimize delays? Is there anything you could do as a professional, right? Analyzing
the delays are everything. That is another thing. You got to understand, guys, it is about controlling your destiny because you're an entrepreneur, but at the same time, controlling everything around you. I can't control Melinda, right? But I can obviously understand a little bit better about title and integrate via systems and understand where, our closings are. But if you don't have that as a reference, you're just shooting blanks, man. I mean, you're not setting yourself up.
So the sales portion of to wrap this all up, because we have other sections to go through, the sales portion of your business plan should say how many sales you want to make and what does that mean in terms of your sales strategy. So if you want to have 20 closed clients, how many to go under contract? Out of all those that come under contract, how many do you need to have consultations with to be able to get that many contracts, to be able to get that many closings? So you got to work your way backwards. So to be able that many consultations, how many calls do you need to make? How many referrals do you need? And then of course, the bigger question is, where are your deals coming from? So that is the breakdown of the things that you need to include in there and that you should definitely pay attention to and try to get data. And as you're doing this, if you can't find the data, if you don't have it organized, come up with a plan to work your way through that this year now. So you start tracking now so that next year, when you're planning for 2023, you have some data to make better decisions. Of course, in a business plan, you should always be itemizing who your ideal client is, where do you have any niches? Who do you want to focus on? Is there a specific zone or area, neighborhood or community or language that you want to focus on? Those are all things that, because if you know that, then we know how to market to that.
Hence what I have right
And
here.
marketing is not just like, okay, what am I going to post on social media today? That's not marketing. Marketing is the overall plan. Like, what's your marketing plan? Social media is just a component of that, right? So, Anthony, what's in your marketing plan for next year?
I want to target market all the data that I have right now. That's the main thing. But the key, because we just found a great credit restoration company from Kashana. Thank you, Kashana. And so to give you an example, the marketing that we're doing right now is marketing all of the 272 leads that we had over the course of 2021 that had poor credit. So now I know, because I have the data, what to target them. Obviously, I'm not Shaka and new buyer consultation forms or down payment assistance. They need credit restoration. So I can target, trying to repair their credit and pushing that to that company and then having an ROI from that company. What's my strategy for next year? We have virtual assistants that are helping out building funnels through HubSpot. And the concept is to help out agents. And in return, our buyer's consultation forms are going to break data down that you see right here and analyze the data and then hence target market the data. In return, that will help and cross-pollinate our financing business. All right. So giving back and marketing in that aspect to help people out. The brand that we have right now that we're about to launch, obviously working on that as well and trying to monetize that brand. And then also, what we have right now with our marketing company, Tag Team Nation, branding that. So attracting new clients. We've got, I think it's over 100 views a day. And we also now can see who's moving on our website, the mouse, like physically looking at their mouse, where they're clicking, analyzing who's viewing the carts, who's, inside the cart and what they're clicking. So if we have to drop prices, things of that nature. So that's marketing. We're not just shotgunning, random stuff out saying we're amazing at what we do. We're sitting there targeting the analytics. If that makes any sense. It's a lot.
It does. You're more on the tech side. Your marketing plan is more tech based, but you did mention you wanted to have more meetings, more live events. That's also part of your marketing plan, right? For next year.
Marketing is very broad. So yes, if we're talking about events and sitting down and having lunches, that is marketing. You're marketing yourself, right? So more of that. But I think the events, what has made damage control and us as a financial institution is the events, without a doubt. Networking, relationships, marketing yourself.
For shizzle, for sure. My marketing plan is a lot of the similar things. New boards, increasing my marketing with the current boards. I'm going to be launching the Closers University. If you're an agent that works with us, we are going to have a quarterly coaching program for the agents that we work with, and then a monthly coaching program, and then a quarterly event with working on different systems and tools. So I'm doing that as part of my retention marketing. So how can I give back to my agents? Same thing, the same way you guys should have quarterly events for your past clients, because you want to keep them close. You want to get their referrals. You want to make sure that you're the agent that they go to when the next time they need to have a real estate need. That's the same thing. You need to find a way to keep in touch, to stay connected to the people you already service, not just focusing on the next new thing, right? Which is important, but we got to make sure we keep what we already had, the relationship. So I have that. We're going to be doing some refreshing and some updating to damage control. That's also part of our business plan. We're going to do some more live events, continue doing webinars, education. I'm going to get my classes, educational credits for agents. And then I'm going to be growing my estate planning side of my practice. We've been doing this incrementally, but as I'm hiring a new lawyer, that's going to be coming on board soon. That's
awesome.
I'm going to have to be tweaking how I market, because What I'm doing for real estate is not going to be how I'm going to market for the estate planning. I need to start hanging out with lawyers again, which I know. Normally, I'm always hanging out with realtors. I got to start hanging out with lawyers again to build that part of practice.
That's right. I didn't think of that.
And then, of course, in terms of my sales and marketing strategy, I have so many people that already know, like, and trust us, that we've serviced them in closings. I'm going to come up with a plan, a game plan to cross sell or cross market them over to the estate planning services. So those are some of the things I have in my marketing plan for next year. All those require a bit more detailed to be built out on. It's not just a line item. Your marketing plan and your business plan shouldn't say, these are the things that I'm going to do. These are the things that I plan to do, when I plan to do them, what I need to do it. What do I need to do it?
Let me give you an example. So the VAs that we have with DC as well, we're building out a retention program that's 6 years, and it's not going to happen overnight, but they're literally on 12 months right now. And that's almost 2 months in the making. What that means is that they're building marketing pertaining on national holidays. If you see my Instagram, you're seeing random holidays that are posted. We want to be top of mind, right? And we want to market and give back. And so our team is forecasting and projecting where those are going to be in terms of the holidays and what days they are and when they're going to go out and who they're going to go out to, if they're going to go out to real estate agents or buyers or, e-commerce, whatever the case is. But the point is that is a strategy, right? And that was already implemented 2 months ago, and we've got 12 months built out of the 6 years. So that's what Melinda's trying to explain right here, and what we're trying to elaborate on. It's important to strategize and build your brand out and forecast through months and years to come. You're not going to hit it every time, but hopefully come close.
So as part of planning for the year, planning for the months, etc., there's using your calendar as a tool. So you're going to put all your trips, your conferences, your birthdays, your special days with your family. Then you're going to put, for us, I'm going to put all my webinars. Yeah, I might change the date, but I know that I want to do 2 a month. So if I plop them on the weeks that I'm not already committed to traveling or something specific, that's not a holiday already. That's not, you know what I mean? That, oh, kids are going to be out of school for the summer. We can change it around to make it look like this. Use it as a tool to plan ahead. And then if you want to launch a certain marketing campaign, you got to plan 2 months before that to get the digital marketing in order to do this, to do that. So it's using it as a way to work yourself backwards once you have all these things you want to do. And then with implementing systems, you need to know what month you're going to focus on what, because you can't do it all at the same time. So if you need blank calls, right, a number of calls, how many leads will your marketing efforts need to bring in, right? So what do you do that brings it? What else are you going to do to bring in the leads? Are you going to do more of something? Social media. Okay. Social media gives you a certain amount of leads a year and you can convert that. Can you get more? Can you post more? What else are you going to do? Are you going to join organizations? Are you going to join BNI? Are you going to join? What are you going to do, right, to get to that? Where are you going to get these leads from? Past clients, workshops, paid leads, memberships with associations, referral business from agents from other areas. What are you going to do to generate this many new clients? Should say 2021. And assuming you have that conversion rate, that's how you backtrack it, right? So sales needs this many calls. How are you going to get the sales department, even though it's the same person, right? It's you for you. How are you going to get yourself to make that many calls a day? Who are you going to call? Well, you can call past clients. If you have no more leads to call, follow up on the old ones, follow up on the closed deals, follow up with referral sources. How many calls do you need to make? You should be tracking. How many calls do I make a day to get me to where I need to be? I'm going to start tracking my calls a little bit better. Probably in a spreadsheet. I'm going to keep it super simple because I want to monitor how many calls do I need to make, whether it's, I call them gas calls, give a shit, whether it's past clients, whether it's referral sources, whether it's sales calls that are pre-scheduled. How many calls I need to make to get myself to where I need to be? I don't really know that because my business is different, but I want to see if I just commit to making a certain amount of calls a day. And if I have none scheduled, calling past clients and doing all those other things to be able to get to where I need to be.
We've got Vera made 273 calls last month. And that
Wow.
was, it was awesome. It was good to see that, considering, and the rest of the team did very well, but she did very well. So the point is to go back month to month and say, wow, and then incentivize as well, make it fun. Who's going to, receive the $2,000 award that is a top agent in closing. So data again, guys, data is everything.
I don't know if you guys remember, we did a sales call challenge earlier this year. Everyone, by the second week, everyone died off. No one did their calls. No one wants to make calls. Calls gives you relationships. Calls lets you connect. Guys, you got to do your calls. That's it. That's all.
Calls are everything.
Mm-hmm. All right. So taking us to the factory. The factory is your systems. The factory is your production. The factory is what you sell. You're selling your services, right? You're a realtor. I sell closings. Anthony sells loans. Those are service. Yes, there's products in a way, but it's really the process. It's a service that we're giving, right? So your production, your service to your clients, how are you going to work efficiently as possible? What can you do to tweak it? We could spend all day here, guys. We're not going to.
I'm thinking of so many things right now for
there's
agents.
There's the factory in the sales process. There's factory all the way down. From when you take that first call all the way to post closing, what does your production need to look like? What do you need to do to service this client properly? You just promised them that you're the best agent in the business to get them done. How are you going to deliver that? You shouldn't be eyeballing it. You shouldn't be freestyling it, right?
Eyeballing's good. I'm visualizing eyeballing it. What next? You gotta have that. You guys gotta have that on paper. I have it on automation, but I put it on paper. We should have put it on the slide. I have a Word doc that's 74 pages, and then I gave it to the tech team, and they built it out. But you wanna have deal stages and what the milestone is, and understand the process. Like what comes next. What's the borrower going to anticipate if that goes out? What is the listing agent gonna say if that email goes out, or what's your call to action here? Like you have to forecast all of that.
The key is
keeping it simple.
You're going to start by keeping it simple, and then you will add layers to it as you start. So the first thing you guys should do is to create your workflow as to what the average deal looks like. The average list. Okay. Let's talk about a listing to start, and then we'll talk about a buyer. The average seller, right? From the listing appointment, right? What do you do after a listing appointment? You have a signed listing agreement. Okay. Now what? You got to open a file. Do you create a Dropbox folder? Where do you keep? Do you have an online folder? Where do you put all this information? They give you copies of things. You save the property appraiser. Do you save the tax bill? Do you find out from the association certain information, budgets, this and that? The approval process? Is there an application? As a listing agent, how do you prepare to market this? Who do you call? Who are your photographers? What are the guidelines to know if you need drone or not, or staging or not, and understanding all that kind of framework to provide the best service as a listing agent in the pre-ML before you load. Then how do you load to the MLS? Do you write your own script? What do you make sure to include? Do you have someone proofread it? What are the things that what do you need to do to prepare for that? What do you do after it's done? Do you have to submit anything to your broker? Right? All these things have to be done. And do you need to keep it all in your head? What if you have 5 at the same time? Hopefully, right? So then what? Then you can't keep that all in your head. So you need the workflows. The workflows will keep you on track and keep your service consistent, even when shit's crazy. Okay. Now there's ways to automate workflows, but the first step is to write it down. So what I suggest is as you're doing it in the beginning, start writing it out. Right. So I don't want you to stay cooped up, in like Anthony, like on the computer, like working on systems, and then you're not getting your deals. Okay. Don't do that.
Did you see that post of me in the hoodie?
Yeah. Like that's
not
crazy.
showered. Just, I would say take one deal if you know it's going to be a paper and it's a really receptive client that's just so bubbly and the world is great, and that's the client I would focus on. I'd even tell them, hey, look, I'm gonna do a testimonial on you from start to finish. I want you to analyze our process, and then I'd write them down, like Melinda said, and just keep 3 pages, write it down from start to finish. Contracts executed. What happens after you execute? Do you send out an email with all third parties? What is your process? What is that to you? How have you written everything down? Or does your broker or team lead have a process? Is there something you want to tweak in their process?
And a lot of these things you don't have to recreate, right? So masterminding this, like part of our Closers University is going to be doing this, because I know most agents don't have this. So we're going to be building this out in the Closers University together. But the idea is all those things also have their own template checklist thing, right? Explanation. So like send the intro email to the closing agent with the contract. Well, what is going to be included in that email? Do you have a template email? What do you attach to that email? Who do you copy on that email? Those are all things that as you grow, you don't want to forget it. And then as you build this, you can easily hire someone to help you, because you already start, you cannot add anyone to your team if you don't start having things written down, because you will be the most inefficient leader, right? So the factory includes,
people will see that too.
Exactly. Factory includes production. What do you need to produce? You better make sure you have if you're driving people in your car, you better make sure your car is decent. If you're, because you need that, right? You need to make sure your car is clean, that your car is in good shape, that your car is, is being maintained. That's part of your factory as a realtor, because you're on the road so much. Is your computer in tip-top shape? Does it take you 25 minutes to turn on your computer? You have a problem, right?
That's terrible.
Get it cleaned up, get a new computer. We're on our computers all day long. Like that's the worst thing for me, is like, I have to have my tech has to be on point. It gets me so frustrated. So those are the types of things for your factory that you need to think about. If you're on the fritz, your computer, I'm going to need a new car next year. Especially car shopping right now is a disaster with everything going on. So you need to make sure you're planning ahead. Don't wait till the last minute. Put it in your budget, right? For next year. Don't spend all your money if you got to buy new computers. Plan ahead.
Yeah.
So all this is important because, the planning ahead portion is important, because we're actually doing a forward-looking budget for the first time. So with adding all the employees and adding the desks and the computers, this is all going to require more, technology, more usernames, more accounts, more logins, all that costs money, right? So you're going to need more of that. So putting that in there to make sure you keep the money aside to run that. Okay. That's your factory. What policies and procedures do you need to prioritize? Where are your pipeline? So if you have a little bit of things built out or nothing at all, but where is the bottleneck in your life, in your business? Where is it? Anthony, what is it for you? What is your biggest pain point that needs to be solved
right now? We've got a clone right now. There's just a lot of data that we're pushing over in terms of
what's something that is just, I need to fix this. What is something that you're like, not again?
I don't have anything right now that I could think of.
No. So that means so that means you just need to work.
I need more sales. Everything is, we're closing in record breaking times. Like Adam's closing, we're closing this deal.
So your process is good. So then what about the supporting the sales side? The sales side is what you've been working on right now is building out these things.
The sales side, and that the sales side would be key for me. And I don't, there's really nothing that I am having a disaster like, oh no, I gotta change. Our systems are I want to say flawless. We have amazing systems right now. Trying to think. Reporting would be something we're getting, we have a lot of reports, but I want to really get like granular, like really have everything reported to me and forecast. And so that's what we can improve on. There's always something we can improve on. Our sales, we need to pick up big time. We should be, with the systems that we have right now, we should be comfortably at 50, a month. And so 39 is something we should be able to hit by next year, no problem. But I don't have disasters. I had all of that. I implement, anyone that knows me knows I have a video for everything. So
that's the beauty of constantly focusing on what the pain points are, right? Because you're always,
it's all I do is focus on pain points.
Even if it's not your fault, right? You need to think about, stay in that moment and say, okay, what could we have done to make this better? Is there anything we could have done to make this better? And occasionally there is.
Yeah.
Most of the time there is.
Yeah.
Right. So we're putting in these little tweaks, these little reminders, these little implement changes to our workflows.
The Chase Bank wouldn't transfer over the conventional appraisal, which is not normal. They usually do that. And we waited 2 weeks, and now we have to order our own appraisal. So I made it mandated. I said, I don't ever want to do that. We'll pay for the appraisal if they don't want to transfer it over within 48 hours. Hard stops, 48 hours. 2 weeks is way too long. Granted, we're closing that, in 21 days, but still, what if, God forbid, I'm a week late? I screwed that up knowing that I'm at mercy of someone who's a loan officer that doesn't really know what's going on, really an app taker, God bless them. And I'm at mercy of that person. So it's always just really analyzing and writing things down. I write things down constantly about things that we need improvement on, but there's not too much at this point.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing some more video explanations and kind of have a video library on my end. That's one thing we're going to be building out. I'm going to be re-recording some of the older videos I did on the estate planning site too. I need to hire an IT company to come clean up shop and make sure we're running like very efficiently. And, I already said we're going to be building out HubSpot, our closing software. We're going to be automation. There's a new automation that has been released in our thing, and it'll minimize the amount of emails we need to send, because when a document has been added to our system, it'll automatically share it to the certain people that it needs to be shared with. That's going to change my life and my team's life. So that's something that we're working towards building out. That's just some examples. So some things also, as you grow, as business changes, as the industry changes, we need to revamp what we already have. So building things out, making a list, doing one at a time in your business plan. I want to build out this, and this. And then I'm going to build out this in January, this in February, this in March. And you have one project. And I'm telling you, it sounds like a lot, but if you just break it down into little pieces of action and stay consistent on these projects, you will build out the machine that you want to have that will work for you instead of you work for it. So
without a doubt.
And then people, right? What's the highest, best use of your time? What are you doing? And what are you doing what do you need to stop doing? And how can you get other people to help you do it? So if you go through and see who do you need on your power team, right? Of course, you could have a TC, an assistant, a team leader, a showing assistant. Those are part of your team. You could have a VA, for example, or even your vendors should be considered part of your team. If you have to chase somebody down for an update, if people don't answer their phones, if your lender is not giving you the service you need, and meeting, of course, stuff happens, but generally speaking, meeting timeframes and due dates per the contract. If they're making your life harder, they're making the business harder for you, then streamlining it. And that's where you need to use that as your time frame to assess who do you need to add, who do you need to get rid of, who do you need to replace, etc. Okay, so the team is super important. Make sure you think about the people that are in your team as it's not just you. All right, even though it could be just you.
Yeah, ISA is another one, inside virtual assistant.
Very good. We already spoke about that. Physical plan is the same thing. For us, we said we're going to need to get more space because we're going to only have so many desks, et cetera, et cetera. What systems do you need to create? What do you need to have to be able to continue to service the clients that you plan to add on, right, in your growth? So
And not
you
only
guys,
that,
for you guys, it's not, you're on the road. You don't have, most of you don't have physical offices, but if you do, or maybe you can't work from home because the kids and this and that, and you need a space. So planning that out and understanding what you need from that is going to be super important. What were you going to say, Ant?
well, just making sure you have a learning management system in play too, as you grow. Video
Definitely.
content, educating whomever's coming on board.
Love it. Love it. Money and metrics. What do you want to earn? What do you want to take home is a great way to determine what your top line gross revenue goal will be. Because if you want to take home $100,000, what do you need to gross to do that? Working your way backwards, right? What do you need to pay, what do you need as your bare minimum? It's an important exercise. Have you done your budget personally? Have you listed your expenses? Have you reviewed your debts and make sure that you can, what do you need to do to just keep it streamlined is super important. And then planning out the budget moving forward, planning out anticipated expenses, making sure that you have a bookkeeper and an advisor. So you're planning for taxes and writing off the right things, everything you need to be writing off with. And then also, we've been talking about tracking data. This is all in money and metrics, right? Where are you spending your money? When you're spending money on marketing and sales, is it working? Reflecting on that is super important.
I'm going to send a pro forma after this. You're going to love it.
Excellent. And last but not least, we mentioned this a few times already, but what are you going to work on for you this year? We can't forget about ourselves, right? If we're drained, if we're not all there mentally, physically, emotionally, we will not be able to run a tight ship for our business. So what are you going to do? Are you going to get designations? Do you want to do certain trainings? Is there something you want to work on? Do you want to focus on your sales training? Do you want to read books? Do you want to get better at a certain task or skill? You want to get better at marketing? Will you get better at things you're not good with? Like, what you have to reflect on yourself. What do you need to do for yourself? And it doesn't have to be about real estate. It could be about other things, So just understanding that, like, what's going to make you better. And mindset is the key. Mindset is really, you got to take the time to focus on your mindset and how you will do that. It could be books, sales, trainings, coaching, whatever, but mindset, you can't get around that. Anything you want to add to that, Anthony?
No, I mean, mindset's everything. I believe in working out. That's for me. I want to make that part of my life. So if that's something that you guys want to do, eating clean, and focusing on, giving back and really, the communities that you're working with right now, putting in the time and effort to those communities. So that's something that you should be focusing on. But no, you said everything.
All right. Well, if nothing else, it's now time for questions. I didn't see any questions throughout the process, but definitely let us know. Someone did ask me who I'm coaching with. It's a coaching program for a business owners that have law firms. So it's not one that's catered for realtors, but there's definitely a lot of good programs out there. You just make sure you know what you're looking for and you interview these companies and you get testimonials before you sign any contracts. Because there's a lot of BS out there too. And I'm a firm believer, if you haven't built it and you haven't sold it, you can't teach me how to do it.
It's true.
That's my opinion, but in any event. So make sure if someone's going to teach you sales, make sure they're selling or they've sold.
It's very true.
Because how can they say that those who cannot teach. I don't like that. I don't like that line. That's just my opinion. If they're giving you business coaching and they never ran a business, I don't like. If their only business is their coaching business, I don't really like that. Not for me.
I don't. That's the proof's in the pudding, man.
Yeah.
So.
But everyone has their own ways of doing things, but just make sure you ask the right questions. And with that being said, I think that's a wrap, right?
That's all she wrote. Yeah.
Here's our closing net sheet. If you guys need a net sheet, you can scan this QR code right here. I'll give it a minute. This is Anthony's QR code here as well to get some information.
Borrower's consultation form.
Awesome. Which is this? What's this?
That is the metrics that we are working on. That is the wrong slide. So that's,
Okay.
we can move.
We'll keep that moving along.
Our
And with
promise
that,
is we'll close in 21 days, and you guys know the spiel. We've done it a million times. Anyone that has any questions, let us know. We're here.
hit us
We're
up later,
available.
an hour later. We're here for you guys. So thank you so much. And please do a business plan.
Happy holidays, Dana.
Don't just show up here and not do it. Do a business plan for your own sake, not mine. All right, guys, have an amazing day.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.